everybody, and welcome back to Brickanics. My name is Andy, and this is the finale of building an Imperial bunker on Endor. And I am really excited to walk you guys through the completed MOC project. So that's exactly what we're going to do on this video. I'm going to walk you through the final MOC project, which includes an exterior Endor landscape. I'll walk you through the exterior of the bunker itself, and then we'll actually take the roof off of this, we'll jump inside and take a look at all the features that are inside of the bunker itself, because it has a completed interior. Now the scene being depicted here in this MOC is that of Return of the Jedi, where Han, Leia, Chewbacca, and C-3PO are attempting to, enter the bunker, blow up the control room, blow up the shield generators that are protecting the Death Star. And when I do this cinematic, which will be following this finale, we are actually going to watch those four rebels on their journey from the outside of the bunker as they make their way into, the bunker and attempt to blow up that control room. As we know, they get captured on their first attempt, so the cinematic will finish on that scene outside when they're walking with their hands over their head and they're captured. So we'll follow that complete journey during the cinematic. But for this video itself, I'm going to walk you through all of the different features of this bunker MOC, starting with the exterior. So let's go. So as I mentioned before, our journey will first start off with our four characters here, which are Han, Leia, Chewbacca, and C-3PO. And one of the first things you'll notice is all of the foliage that is here on the floor of Endor. And I used a lot of various techniques and colors to really try and give that feel of a forest with all of its foliage and thatch and different type of random plants covering the floor of that forest. And I used some different olive studs, some different color browns to try and give it that feel. So our heroes are up here on the top of this hill. They're kind of tucked away behind this rock work and some of this foliage, overlooking the scene here and strategizing their plan on how they're exactly going to get inside of that bunker. Here's a little closer look at the rock work that is sitting at the front of the hill in front of our heroes. And, I wanted to include some rocks into the MOC, because I wanted to practice making rock work, as I've never done that before. And I just thought it would be a good kind of additional detail to add to the exterior landscape here. And we've got some rocks kind of sparsely placed around the ground here on this MOC, just to kind of show that it's not one lump glob of rocks, but rather it's part of this hill and landscape. You might have noticed these huge redwood trees here. This first one, I actually looked at the instructions. I downloaded the instructions from Lego for the Lego Ideas treehouse, and I built the base based off of those instructions. That's the first layer of the tree, the trunk of the tree, and then you have to kind of figure out on your own how to build the additional layers as the tree goes up. But that's exactly how I was able to get this look here. And I built on the branches and just added some additional browns and different colors to kind of add a different detail and texture to the tree. And I also added the sand green pieces here so we could get the feeling of moss growing on the back of this tree. So it's based on a snot technique as well as these other trees that we have in the MOC. So there's 3 trees in total, each one ranging in circumference, so they're different sizes, and they're all using a snot technique. And I really like how these trees turned out, and I really feel like they give a good vibe of large redwoods in Endor. So the trees combined, with the hill and the rocks and the different foliage on the base of Endor on the ground, I think really helped to give the MOC a good Endor vibe for it. Out front, we have two scout troopers, one jumping off of a speeder bike and the other one getting ready to get onto his speeder bike. The speeder bikes are a custom design that I made here. I wanted them to be sleek and just have that kind of narrow line feel that you see on the speeders of Endor in the Return of the Jedi. I would have liked to make them a different color than the ground. I had intended on the base of Endor to be more green, to where these speeders would stand out in this reddish brown color. But I ultimately decided to sparsely place, olive and different green pieces on the floor of Endor. If you see in the movie Return of the Jedi, the base of Endor is a brown kind of mud or dirt feel, and I just felt like there would just be too much green on here if I didn't leave the front of this bunker open to this reddish brown base or mud or dirt base of Endor. So the speeder bikes kind of blend in, but I still think it looks good, and I just love these Scout Trooper minifigures. I think they're just excellent. They're probably my favorite minifigures right now. On the left side of the bunker, we have three stormtroopers returning back from patrol. So they're just kind of walking along here, and one's kind of waving and greeting the scout trooper as they arrive. All right, let's start off with the exterior of the bunker itself, starting with the front entryway. I wanted to capture the angles that we're seeing in Return of the Jedi of that bunker on Endor. So I think that this actually does a really good job of capturing the way and the the look and the feel of that bunker on Endor. Now originally, my plan was to just kind of keep the exterior bare bones, because in the movie, this front entryway is really the only thing that you see protruding out of a hill, which the rest of the bunker is built into the side of a hill and underground. So obviously I did not build this MOC into a hillside. So what I've done to try and help this blend into the foliage of Endor and the redwood trees is I've added some additional foliage on top of the bunker and on the front of the bunker to kind of, quote unquote, dirty it up a little bit and help it to blend in and feel like it's also in the forest of Endor. To help give it a little bit more of a rundown kind of feel that it would have if it was in the forests of Endor, I've kind of had this foliage on the left side of the bunker kind of break through some of this railing. You'll see some of these railing pieces down here on the ground, and some weeds and vines, etc., hanging off the left side of the bunker. And then I've just added a little bit of detail to the right front side of the entryway. And then you can see some additional, back here towards where the radars are. Speaking of that, let's move on to the front or the top of the bunker itself. So here we have a hatch, which is an access point from inside the bunker to the rooftop. We have a couple stormtroopers, coming out of that access point and getting up onto the top of the bunker. One's kind of throwing his weapon out here as he pulls himself up, and the other stormtrooper here has already gotten onto the roof and is walking over to the radar. Up here on the top, you might say there's a lot of studs, but I kind of like the way that gives a rough feel to the MOC itself. I like that as opposed to having a bunch of tiles on the top here. But in order to kind of break it up a little bit and add some additional detail, we've added some tiles and different features to the top of the bunker. These radars, can spin, so they articulate and spin around. Just a simple design, I guess, but I thought it was pretty cool to add some different, detail and, some different piping up here, which is done on a snot technique, how they're kind of laid in here. Over here on the left, we have some pipes, and then we have an air intake. So I really kind of like the way that this turned out, using some of these engine pieces and some different kind of grill pieces to replicate an air intake, because the bunker, being underground, etc., you need to get oxygen inside of there. So that's the intent of those. Not to skip past some of the detail that's here on the front right side of the bunker, where we just have some different pipes and greeveling and a ventilation system there. And we have that also here on the left side behind the weeds and foliage. Let's go ahead and get this roof off and take a look at the inside. So the top is actually loosely connected with just 4 studs in the corners, so the top can easily lift off. And then the actual front entryway of the bunker is also loosely connected, so you can pull that off as well. One thing that I forgot to mention earlier is that these front doors actually can slide open. Here is the interior of the bunker, which is one of my favorite things about this MOC, is the interior of this bunker, which replicates what you would see on that Imperial bunker in Return of the Jedi. This front entryway here looks like the one you saw in the movie, where Han, Leia, and Chewbacca entered into the bunker after sneaking past, the guards are distracting them to get inside. So that's that scene there. You'll notice some various details, different types of piping that you might see around the walls of the interior of the bunker, the different grating or grades across the floor. Used two-tone colors, light bluish gray and dark bluish gray, to add an element of detail. So really happy with the way that the floor turned out. We've got a couple stormtroopers on guard here. There's actually some hidden scenes that I saw on YouTube where there's a bit of a skirmish here as they first enter the bunker. So I do want to kind of replicate that during the cinematic, where you see a little bit of a gunfight here in this first opening before they make their way down the long hallway towards the control panel. But you'll notice here we have a hallway leading down the left way that leads into a couple rooms. I'll tell you here in a second what they are. We have a doorway leading into the armory here, which we'll touch on here in a second. And then we also have, this hallway on the right-hand side, which leads down towards the control room for the shield generators. So let's start off with the armory, and we have a couple stormtroopers grabbing their weapons and getting ready to head out for the day to patrol. So just some different weapons on a gun rack here. We've got a crate down there, and just some various weapons being hung up on the walls. We got a barrel with some tools, etc. So that is the armory. If you head down the hallway to the left, you'll enter into the main meeting room, and in the main meeting room we have a meeting taking place. We have an Imperial officer just giving some details maybe to an upcoming patrol that they're going to have, so they're just reviewing those. We've got 2 stormtroopers and a scout trooper taking it all in, and then we have a scout trooper over here on the left who's entering some data into this data entry point here, just to record some information from his last scout patrol that he was on. So again, just some details around the floor. You'll notice some of those kind of angled grate pieces grating across the floor, some different ventilation pieces in the walls, and some minimal greeveling. If you keep going straight through this doorway here, you're going to enter into like a sleep area, a barracks area, where we have some guys just kind of, letting a load off for the day, getting ready to get some rest in. So a couple guys up here on these bunk beds. One guy is taking in some entertainment, and we got a guy down here crawling in to his bed to take a nap. Again, with some details around the walls and piping. And then we got a little sink area with some food, some croissants. So I'm sure they had some bread. They had to eat something when they were on Endor. So we got this this stormtrooper here getting ready to get his grub on. So that's that room there. As you come in the bunker, if you were to go through the right doors down the right hallway, that kind of takes you down this long hallway where we have one of these Imperial like operations officers kind of walking down the hallway. But this long hallway leads you down into the control room, where we have two more of those Imperial like operations officers. I'm not sure exactly what they're called. And then we have the kind of main Imperial officer here. And this control room has a lot of detail. It's different levers and gadgets and gauges, etc. And some computer screens and kind of that main computer console here that Leia kind of sets the detonation charges down on when they're trying to attempt to blow this up. And then over here on the left-hand side, we have all of our shield generators. So these are those orange shield generators that we see inside the Imperial bunker, and these are what are in fact powering the shields on the Death Star. So this is what they're trying to blow up in that scene. So if you want to see the cinematic, which is going to replay the movie Return of the Jedi and that scene where they're attempting to blow up the shield generators, make sure to hit the subscribe button. And I wanted to take a moment here to thank Mason, because without Mason, really none of this would have, happened. I would have never gotten back into Lego. He has been an incredible amount of motivation and inspiration for me to even build this. He plays with it a lot, and each day after building onto this bunker, nothing really made me more excited than to see him come out of the bedroom and want to see what else was built onto the bunker. And he helped out a lot as well with a lot of the various pieces, and he's learned a lot from watching me do a lot of this. This was actually our first legitimate MOC. So we're just getting started on this channel. We are excited to continue building MOCs. We have a lot of exciting news, and just a lot of growth is going to take place on this channel, I believe, over the next couple months. So I hope that you'll hit the subscribe button and kind of join us on that journey. But that's it. That's the Imperial bunker on Endor. The build is complete. Up next is the cinematic. What do you got to say, Mason? What do you got to say?
I play with it all the time.
We have battles all the time. We get out all the minifigures and just... It is quite fun having...
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We're almost out of battery.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun having to rebuild all the things that kind of get broken in the process of playing with it. But hey, that's it. That's all we have to say. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you liked the MOC. Hit the like button if you did. We appreciate you guys being a huge part of this journey and also providing a lot of feedback. And I just have loved the comments from you during the build from this, and we're just excited to continue building with you and growing this channel with you. So thank you so much for your participation, and
we're gonna see you on the next video. I see the power.
That's right. You guys have a great day. Thank you.
Bye.